All right, I think I'm ready to go. Let's get this going. Can you guys hear me by any chance? I don't know if my audio is working. In the chat, could you guys just let me know if you can hear me? Let me. Oh. Awesome. Thank you guys. Let me get. All right. Hi. Let me just switch a couple things around over here. There we go. Okay. Awesome. I'm ready to go. So this should be a lot of fun. I want to give a bit of a word of warning. I've never used Jekyll before, so don't use this as like a best practice or anything like that, please. I don't know how this is going to go. So let's just jump over to what we're going to actually be doing. So here I have a bunch of stuff. I lost my mouse. There it is. And okay, so what we're going to be doing, the first thing I want to do is just learn and experiment a little bit with Jekyll. We're going to be looking at, I just want to make sure I can get the very basics of it down. And then we'll get into actually building like a blog site with it where I want to experiment with Grid as well. I have a few ideas for stuff that I want to do with Grid. So just experiments and stuff. So I'm going to take the chance to do that at the same time. We'll be using Sass to do it all. Sass is built in with Jekyll, so you don't actually have to do anything extra. It should compile by itself. And I'm going to be also using Markdown, which I don't have a lot of experience with, but Jekyll supports that, so I figured why not. Sorry for the sluggy video. I know I'm getting a war. YouTube's telling me that my stream is not very good right now. I'm going to see if I can't do anything about that. According to my thing. Anyway, we'll keep going and hopefully the stream connect fixes itself a little bit. As we go. So let me get rid of that because I don't really need it now. And thanks everybody for joining, by the way. I think this will be a lot of fun. I hope it's a lot of fun. Yeah. And again, if you have any questions while I'm doing this, feel free in the chat to ask away. It can be off topic too. I don't mind with this. I'm going to be here for a while, a few hours probably. So, I don't mind going off topic a little bit along the way as well. And I'm sorry for the laggy video. It still says that it might be having some issues. Hopefully that fixes itself. My internet connection should be able to handle it fine. We'll see how that goes. Let's just see. Pratik is asking what language to focus on. You already know JavaScript, Java, Python, HTML, CSS, Node. You know a lot of stuff. It depends what you want to be doing. Focus on the language that will let you do what you want to be able to do. Do you have a project in mind you'd like to do? I can't really say anything beyond that. You know more languages than I do already, so I don't want to give you any bad advice. Does troubleshooting take hours for me? It can sometimes. It depends. I've spent like 40 minutes looking for a typo before, so you never know. But I've gotten a lot better at it. I also teach in the classroom, and when you're teaching beginners, you see a lot of mistakes. So I've gotten really good at troubleshooting just because of that, really. Oh yeah, good question. Why do I want to use Jekyll? So here I have Jekyll's website. It's a static site. Thank you for asking, man. It's a static site generator, which means it generates things on the fly pretty much. So you're writing, it's outputting static HTML and CSS files. You can have some JavaScript in there too. But it's outputting static files, but it lets you write in with dynamic content. So you can have like a blog, a blog and other stuff, Blog Aware right here on their website. So it lets us be able to use some cool dynamic things that you might normally only find on like PHP and other stuff, which also means you can host it on GitHub pages, which means you can get free hosting on that. I use Netlify to host my website, which is static files only, so I could run a blog through that using Jekyll. MGTOW, I don't know what that is. Vabhav? MGTOW? I don't know what that is. Sorry. So one thing with this, I'm on a Windows computer, so I'm PC, If you are too, it is a little bit annoying to install Jekyll because you need Ruby and it can be a bit of a pain in the butt. I've already pre-installed it. It's the only thing I've done. So I've put a link in the description below if you're on a PC. If you're on a Mac, it's a lot easier. And the other thing I have done is I've read a lot of documentation already. So the documentation, I just wanted to make sure I knew sort of the direction I was going in and roughly how it worked. So what I'm going to do, instead of going into the documentations though, while this is for transforming an HTML site into a Jekyll file, I'm going to use this to create my own, because if not, it comes sort of with a pre-generated theme, and I don't want to be fighting against the theme. I want to be doing something from scratch, and this seems like the easiest way to do it, but I might be wrong on that. So that's under the tutorial section if you're looking for it, and convert an HTML site to Jekyll. I'm going to be following these steps. Elena, GitHub does not host PHP files. We can't have any sort of dynamic things or anything that works with a server. Oh man, you're saying it does. I'm curious how that would work. My understanding of GitHub pages is it has to be static files only. So I'd be curious to know. Maybe I have to look into it a little more. But that's why something like Jekyll is really awesome, because it lets you have a blog or other things with dynamic content, even though it's in the end generating static files that you can host in a few different places. So I've already installed Jekyll, like I've said. So if I bring up my terminal here, just to make sure we're on the right version, I'm going to write in Jekyll-v. Sorry, I hear a weird noise. But I thought it was my computer, but it seems to be coming from somewhere else. There we go, and I'm on Jekyll 3.7.2, which is the newest version of Jekyll. So it says, what should I do? I'm going to create some different files here. So I'm in VS Code, but you can use whatever editor you want. And I'm going to start by making a new folder here. Do I need a folder? No, I will. Yes, I'll start with the folder, underscore layouts. And I need a few different files. So I'm going to make a new file. The first one is underscore config.yml. I'm going to make another new file called index.md. And I'll make one last file called default.html. And I'm going to bring that over into my layouts. And this shouldn't be in my layouts. Default should be. There we go. What's going on? I'm moving too much stuff. Config should be out here. There we go. I think that is properly set up now. Man, can we name it without the underscores? I'm guessing the underscores are important, so that's why I'm going to put them there. If they're telling me that's what I should do, for now I'm going to do it. I don't know enough. To me, it's letting it know that because it's generating content and stuff like that, to me the underscores are probably important, and telling it something that it needs to know, probably a little bit like when you're using Sass, the underscores let things know that it's partial files and not things that should be compiled. Oh, and you can do all that like this if you're on a Mac, by the way. Fire up your favorite editor and populate the area of default.html and index as follows. So we'll start with the config, and this should just be name my Jekyll. Now this name obviously could be something else, but we'll start just with the really basics. I'll save that. Layouts default.html. I'm gonna do the whole thing here. That's with Emmet, exclamation mark tab will populate it all. If you're using VS Code, Emmet comes pre-installed. Jekyll website. I have a lot of trouble spelling Jekyll. And last but not least, default. I need inside the body. I want to do content. There we go. Cool. Oh, that's going to get annoying a little bit with these color coding. Oh well. I have an extension installed that color codes parentheses and of any type as they go farther inside, just so you can keep track of what's opening and closing where. Don't really need it on right now, but I don't feel like digging through and finding it. Okay, so let's keep going, and the index.md, and very soon we're going to see the real power of this and how it's working. So this thing at the top of up here, this is for the liquid, they call it liquid layout, something like that, where the things that are up here are the information that tell sort of the different things. So I can set the title of, I'm going to call it like my home page, and layout will be default. So what that means is this page should use this file for its layout purposes. So default there, and we'll come down and we'll write some Markdown. So I'm going to put in these, and I'm going to write page title. So what that means is it's going to use my home page to populate the H1 on my page. This is Markdown, so the one hashtag here is, so I could just write H1, my page title, close H1, and this will be taking this information and putting it inside the H1 over here. Sorry, just reading a few comments here. There's PHP static site generators, Jigsaw, Canada, that compiled to plain HTML. I don't know if you can use PHP. Oh yeah, there you go. So yeah, you'd need to use a static site generator, however it's working. And yeah, Rohit, I'd love to change the time. Sadly, I can't do live videos very often just because I have my family, my kids, everything else. This is just the time. I'll try and do different ones at different times, but I don't know when my next one will actually be either. Yeah, sorry for you guys where it's the middle of the night. It's 1 p.m. here, so there's like a 12-hour time difference to you, Rudy. Sorry about that. So here, let's just write some other stuff. So here is some normal content. This would just be a paragraph. And just to show you, let's do this. This is an H2, just for fun. Okay, and I'm gonna save that. Everything should be saved. And now I need to open up my terminal. And what do I need to do? Go to there. I'm already in the right spot. Let's see if this works. Jekyll. Serve. And we'll see what happens. If this worked, I should be able to go to here. Generating. Hey, it looks like it actually worked. So let's go and see if it worked. Back and forth, it's loading, and it worked. That's awesome. So cool. Now I'm getting some errors here because I didn't put in a favicon, and there's some other problems going on and all of that. But that's pretty cool. That's working. So you can see here my H1 is actually the page title. So just for fun, just to show you again how this is working, or even I'll go to my default.html now, and let's change something here. I'll just style background is blue. Body. I'm not used to writing inline styles. Body background is blue. Do I have to refresh? Yeah, there we go. And you can see that, so this site is controlling what everything looks like, and it's pulling in, it's taking this content and injecting it inside the body right there. So cool, that's actually working. David, 5 a.m. But it helps to have young kids that keep you up all night. Yeah, my youngest one's sick right now, so last night wasn't too bad. He woke up at like 4:30 or something, but with his nose all blocked. But most of the time they're not too bad actually. But they get up at like 6 a.m. But I get up at weekdays. I get up at 5:30 for work and stuff. So yeah, not too terribly fun there. Don't really get to sleep in. Oh, what am I doing? Here we go. So that worked. Is that it? Is that everything that's in here? Create a template. Okay, I'm skipping a bunch of stuff. Yeah, here it's just talking about the front matter. That's what it was. I was thinking liquid for some reason. It's called front matter, this stuff. So it is important for putting some stuff in, choosing your title, your layout, and some other stuff. There's more things we can do with this, but I forget what they are. Yeah, I got all that. The process files get written as an HTML file in the site directory. So if we look here, that means it generated a site directory. And there it is. That's everything that got generated. Oh, it's also copied my plan over to there, but that's fine. And my images, but that's good because I'm going to need those images after anyway. I don't know if I should have these images just floating out around here. And actually, just to give you guys a sneak peek on what we will eventually be doing. Here we go. This is what I want to eventually do. So this would be the homepage, my awesome blog. I should export that as an image too. But I need this. Then we'd have the most recent blog post would get put here and some older blog posts here. My button is in the wrong spot. And then a really flashy footer. And then an individual blog post is going to look something like this. And then what I'm hoping for, I'm going to be using Grid, so it should be easy to sort of make these things that break out. We could even maybe make a class that would come all the way out. So I want to experiment a bit with how we can do this. I have an idea that I want to try, and I don't think it's best practice, but for a layout like this that's really simple, I think it's going to work well. And I'm basing this on a 6-column grid type thingy. Like this. So this is sort of on a 4. This breaks out on the sides. And over on here, we actually use all 6. So yeah, that's the eventual goal is to get this working as a Jekyll thing. So my blog posts would automatically be filled in on the homepage, and I shouldn't have to do any work on the homepage whatsoever. Fingers crossed. This would come in as a description. Yeah, so that should be interesting. I'm not quite ready to do that just yet, though, because I've got this working, but a few other things that I want to do. You can sleep all day after this. Good, Rudy. Glad to hear that. Yeah, David, Liquid is the template language. Okay, thank you. I knew that I was getting Liquid from somewhere. Okay, so create a default template for blah blah blah. So yeah, the default is our default layout. Copy and paste the source code into a file called default. So this is saying if we have a layout that we already have that we're converting, because I'm on the convert a website from HTML into Jekyll. So I don't actually have a layout that I have yet. We also have filters. I'm going to keep this open because I think it is going to be important. So let's just try something really simple here. I'm going to take this inline style out. And so it's saying, for example, I think I'm going to screw things up here, but that's okay, right? This is all about experimentation. So here, I think what I'm going to do is put in a container, div class container. Is the stream really laggy still, guys? Just curious how things are going, because I could always make a few changes. It seems YouTube's telling me it's going well now, but I just want to make sure that it is. And also, I know you guys said you can hear me. I just want to make sure the audio levels are okay, because I hear myself talking, but it always sounds good on this end. Yeah. So I'm going to make a container there, and let's see if I can get my CSS hooked up with an external CSS file. Now, the one thing, everything needs to go in an assets folder, if I remember correctly. So I'm going to make a new folder called assets. Inside my assets, now this is where I'm going to screw things up. Does this tell me here? We're going to get to this stuff a little bit later. See, I was hoping this would be here too, because it's talking about setting up our files. But it's not. It will compile Sass for us. And I know it goes in an assets folder, and I'm pretty sure it has to go in an SCSS folder. Oh, no, just a CSS folder. Let's rename that. I think it goes in like that. And then in here, let's make a new file, main.scss. I think it's going to compile it for us. Hi, Baman. 1 second, just a few questions. Yusuf, what is Jekyll, and do I have to use it? You don't have to use Jekyll. It's just a cool language, I think. And so this will answer your question too, Baman. So anyone who's just joining us, we're building a website with Jekyll. Eventually, I want to build this out. And I saw another question from Elena, maybe, about what software I'm using. This is Adobe XD. Sketch is a bit more popular, but I'm on a PC, so I don't have Sketch. And there's a lot of other software out there too. I used to use Photoshop all the time, but now I've moved on to Adobe XD. There's still some problems with it, but it works. I like it. So basically what Jekyll is it's taking files. So I have this, it just says content here, and it's going to take files and insert the content I'm creating into there automatically. And the idea is to be able to build something with a static site without servers and all of that stuff needed, or not servers, but databases and all of that, but be able to have a blog or other things that would normally require dynamic content. So let's see if this CSS folder will compile on its own. So let's just write some Sass here. So I'll make a variable. BG is, I don't know, 444. Text will be FFF. And I'll save that. And I need to link it here, obviously. So I think, if I go back to where we were before, I probably need something really similar to that, right? So I'm going to have my style link, but the href, I'm going to actually follow through on this. I want to make sure I write this properly. No, it's not going to, yeah, okay. So my href will just be, oh, I guess I want to do, I don't want to mess this up. So it should just be like this maybe, and then it would be assets/main.css, and then it's a relative URL. And I have no idea if this actually worked or not. Let's go back over here and refresh. Doesn't seem, actually I should have also put something, but it's obviously, oh, I made variables, but I didn't use them. That's not too smart. So here I have a, let's say body, color is BG, background, whoops, is BG. This should be text, and my container, let's give it a width of like 600 pixels, margin 0, auto. Save, refresh, and it's not working. I didn't think so. Let's go see. Have I looked at any other static site generators? Yeah, I know Ruby is required. I haven't looked at any other ones, to be honest. This is one I've wanted to learn for a while, so that's just the reason I'm doing it. I know there's a ton of them out there, so and I can't really, I don't want to. Asset CSS. Oh, it's not compiling my Sass. I thought Jekyll automatically compiled Sass, but apparently not. Or let's just see then, maybe. Let's rename this. Do you think if I do that, save? No. Okay. Being too smart. Rename. I was under the impression that it would automatically compile this for me. So what I'm going to do, let's just get rid of that. And color will be FFF. Background will be 333. Let's rename this whole thing as a regular CSS file for now and see if that works. Index, style sheet. Oh, that shouldn't be like that. That should be... Oops, getting a phone call. Sorry, guys. I had it on Do Not Disturb, and it came through anyway. Save? Why not? Okay, let's just take all this off then and see what happens. Not all that. Let's just make it not this dynamic thing. It's not working right now. I'll figure that out in a minute. I just want to get a little bit of things working here properly. It's still not working. Index. Assets/main. Assets. Oh, that would, okay, undo. Maybe this could work. Assets. I'm not used to going so deep into files. Assets, CSS, main. Hey, there we go. Okay, that was just me being silly then. Cool, good. So we got something working. That's a good sign, right? The top of my screen isn't seen. That's weird. One second. According to my streaming software, it's seen. Let me just check my YouTube thing here. Oh, I can't scroll all the way up. I can see the top of my screen on my little preview here of my stream. So I don't know why you're not getting it. Sorry. What can you not see? That's a bad question, isn't it? You don't know what you can't see. Okay, anyway, I'll have to keep going because I don't really know what I can fix there. Oh, you can see it, Daniel and Suraj. Well, okay, I'm glad some of you can. Okay, let's keep going and start trying to make this look a little bit nicer. Oh, I was supposed to post a thing. Yeah, I'm going to try the Sass out again, and I just want to quickly check out the documentation on... Let's just see. Yeah, let's see what happens, actually. I told someone I was going to let them know that I was going live, and I completely forgot. So let me just post that right now. Sorry. I'm live. Sorry for the late mention. There we go. Okay, sorry about that. Anything about Sass? Just really fast here? No? Okay, let's just see what happens then. Let me shrink this down. We'll keep both of these open at the same time. And let's rename this CSS. Save. It's coming through there, so that means I lost it. Anyone here use Jekyll before? Whoops, that's not what I wanted. I was sure it compiled it for me automatically, but maybe I'm missing a little... I might have to stop compiling it, and that actually will probably have to be set up in my configuration file. I might have to mention that I want some Sass. Let's see if it's in here. SCSS. Find on site. Not found on here. Configure site variables. No, that's okay. Show posts on page. We're eventually going to do stuff like that. We're going to get to that. For loops, we're going to get to that eventually. Navigation, maybe. I would have thought Sass would have been on this part, but I have a feeling... Okay, I went too far. Sorry for all the scrolling. I feel weird. Usually I have an idea of what I'm doing already. And I really have no idea what I'm doing this time, which is a little bit nerve-wracking for me. It should get compiled into the site folder, which you should never touch. I agree. I'm just looking in my site folder to see what's going on in here. But in my site folder, my CSS folder, it's not getting compiled automatically. I'm on the newest version of Jekyll, so obviously there's something weird going on. So I'm just wondering if configuration file... It's not mentioned here. Because in my config, I just have my name right now. I'm wondering, that's for cram down. Also, I'm going to do one thing because this is going to drive me nuts. Control C will stop this from going. I'm going to do the same thing again. So Jekyll serve, but if I add live reload, it means I don't have to refresh. And I'm happy I stumbled upon that, and I wish it was more obvious in their documentation. Just because refreshing is annoying. Generating, and it's done. Okay, and I should get some errors now, which are fine. Oh wait, It's saying it can't find some. Do I not have the Sass gem file for some reason? Source, destination, incremental enable. I don't want to do that. Done. Please add the following gem file to avoid polling changes. I thought it was automatic, but anyway, let's see if this works. I just want to make a change here, page, and some more content. And I'm going to save. It's not auto refreshing. I thought. Anyway, okay. Yeah, well, it doesn't seem to be working. I just stumbled across that live reload flag when I was going through, and it was really deep into stuff. And I wish I'd known. Yeah, well, I found it now, but it's not even save. You can see it's. Oh, it is working. Let's just delete some content. There we go. It is working. Awesome. I am getting errors though because of. Oh, it's not finding my CSS file. So let's find out how I can get my Sass going. And I think, you know what, I'm gonna get my Sass going, and then we're just gonna build that website out. Screw it. I don't want, I think yeah, I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's get my Sass file going here. I'm going back and forth between Chrome and Safari, Chrome and Firefox, because I'm gonna be using Grid. I definitely want to be using Firefox for the dev tools. So let's go to my docs and search the docs. I'm just going to search. I'll start here and see what happens. Oh, there we go. So one mistake I might have made is Jekyll allows you to place all of your partials in your Sass tier, which will default to _Sass. Aha. So this should be rename _Sass. Save. It still didn't work. What's in my site now? Assets _Sass. Sass source / _Sass. Place all of your SCSS or Sass files in here. For example, take a look at this example. We'll go look at that in another tab. I'm not putting them in a different directory. I could tell it that I am. The Sass tier is only used by Sass. Note that the Sass imports nothing more. This means that Jekyll does not know about these files directly. If you're using import statement, you'll need to ensure that your Sass tier is set to the base directory that contains your Sass files. Oh, does that mean it's not supposed to be in my assets? Let's just see what happens. Save. No, that didn't work either. Okay, let's go look at that example. Oh, it is. It's just supposed to be here. And then my main there. Okay, so I shouldn't have had that inside my assets folder. I thought I had to do that. And let's go look at their config file then. I knew I can do that. Sass, so tip. Top tip, yeah. Sorry for all the stumbling around. Once I get the Sass going, I think it'd be a lot more interesting of a video. Save. And it's not doing anything, so maybe _Sass main.scss. And let's go back to here for a second. So _Sass, they have those. Where's their main? Oh, okay. I am messing things up. So the main.scss, not in my site folder, in my assets folder, I should have a CSS folder. So I was right there. CSS. And in that folder, I should have a main.scss. Assets. Where did I'm screwing everything up. That's okay. I'll make a new one. CSS. And this should be inside there. Okay. And then my partials, I think, would have to be inside there. And early on, someone was asking if we need the underscores. It looks like what happens is delete the CSS from the assets. From assets. I don't have one there now. Oh wait, maybe I should save this file again. No. If you have the underscore, it's an ignored folder, so it means it's not actually doing it. It might be pulling stuff in from that, but it's not actually using anything in those to do anything important. So if I look at my site folder, it's doing assets. It's just keeping everything going like that. This is a little bit frustrating. I don't want to be writing this without Sass because I'm lazy. I thought this would be a lot easier. I read that it was automatic and that I didn't have to do anything, and I got all excited. So in here they have that. So you know what, just for fun, at import test, or yeah, at import, what should I call it? I just want to see one thing actually. I looked at the config. This is just the README file. Jekyll Sass converter requires 2.2 or greater. I am. So you don't need to install it if you're already using Jekyll. Oh, see. Silly me. I need gem. Hello. I was missing a gem. I thought it came automatic. Hello. There we go. Let's see. Command C to end that. Let's see if this works. Gem install Jekyll Sass converter. I read that this was automatically installed, so I'm a little, but whoops, didn't. Gem install, because I can't see everything I'm writing. Jekyll Sass converter. That would solve a pretty big problem right there. So we'll let that go, and let's pull up my layout now just to get a few things. Oh, successfully installed. Let's just see what happens now. Oh, whoops. We need to Jekyll serve. I'm zoomed in so the font sizes are bigger, but it means I can't see everything I'm seeing. It's kind of annoying. So yeah, let's go and check out the layout so we can start generating. I keep getting distracted here because right as I'm about to do something else. It's still not working. Assets. Oh, come on. I'm going to delete my whole site. Let's stop. I want to stop serving. I'm going to delete the whole site folder. If not, I'm just going to write this without Sass. I'm getting way too frustrated, and maybe we'll figure it out after. Because I want to make this interesting for you guys, and seeing me troubleshoot something I'm not too comfortable with is not going to be too interesting. So assets is set up properly. Let's... I can't spell Jekyll. Jekyll serve. So the layout is this. I've already gotten my images, so I just need to link to the Google fonts that I'm using. I have all of that information right here. So I'm using Cardo and Pathway Gothic 1, so I just need to get those from Google. I have all my font sizes. I have my colors. As I mentioned, the grid is a 6-column grid. So let's see what we can do with this. I'm just going to also export this actually as an icon. Symbol 1. Can I rename this? Rename logo. Not a very good logo. I don't want to batch export it. I just want to export. Export selection, PNG, layout to build. No, change. Desktop. Desktop. Jekyll blog. I'm going to throw it in here now. I don't think it should be in that folder, but for now we're going to throw it in there, and we'll figure out where my images should be after. Yeah, let's just see here in my site folder, assets. Yeah, it's still not converting it. Is it only you who's lagging incorrect? I'm not sure. Sorry, just check this out for 1 second. Yeah, no, the stream health seems to be going up and down. I don't know if my internet is not doing so hot today or what, and I really apologize for any lagging and stuff that might be going on. Okay, so let's see. What do I want to do? Let's just come back to this for 1 second. So I did that. It's installed. Usage. See, it comes, I was right. It came already. I didn't need to do that. I wasn't crazy. I installed it for nothing. The main one, the partials are fine. The main files are like pages. They go where you want them to output, and they contain, oh, I need front matter lines at the top. No, where's their main one? Did they do that and I just didn't realize it? Oh man. Okay, this was to actually have Jekyll know that something should be compiled, or it should do something with it instead of just taking it as is. You need to put the front matter stuff at the top. I literally don't need any of this. I just need to have these lines up here at the top. If I save that, site, assets, it didn't do it anyway. For check. That might be my problem. That was my problem. Oh my goodness, guys. I don't know why this is in red. It's giving me an error on a bunch of stuff. It doesn't like that I'm using that in an SCSS file. That's frustrating. I know I could use other stuff, but I should have just used something else for my Sass, but I knew that Jekyll could do Sass. I knew it, and I just needed to put this bloody thing at the top. Oh, that's so stupid. But it makes sense. It means that if you don't put the front matter at the top, Jekyll will just take the file and move it to where it thinks it should go inside your site folder. If you do include the front matter, it knows it needs to do something. So it knows it needs to actually compile that file somehow. So that's why it's also going to take my index.md. It can take this. If I don't have this at the top, it's just going to take a markdown file and export it as a markdown file. But if I have it like this, and you can also have HTML files, there's no problem at all. An HTML file will work and there's no issue with it. As long as you have this at the top, then you can use the dynamic content stuff. But yeah, now I just get this annoying error because it thinks I shouldn't have these lines up here, but so be it. I'll live with that because it's working. Thank goodness. I just don't think I put the live reload on, but I'll live with it for the moment. Cool. So let's get to building our site and making it look a little bit better. So I'm going to come to the default.html first because we need to change some stuff. So let's go over to my design and let's just pluck this over on the side here. Close this down for a second. I'm actually going to start with this layout and then do this one just because I need the content to actually be generated in. So I'm going to make my post first and then we'll figure out, then we'll figure out how we can turn that post. We'll make that, this dark line at the top for Firefox is driving me nuts. There we go. Okay, and make this a bit bigger. So we can actually get started now. And actually I need this to be opened so I can get my colors and font sizes. We'll do that after. Let's just worry about the layout for now. Okay, so at the top, I don't want a container. I want my, we'll call it title area. In my title area, I need to have my logo. So my logo, see this, images, probably shouldn't be like that. My images should probably be something that gets ignored. No, it should be in my assets. Let's bring that up into my assets. Yeah, that should just be in there like that, images, and then I have my images. I think that makes sense. So what I can do now is I can say that inside my title area, we should have, an image src. I'm going to do this part in 1 second. And then class is equal to logo. So the reason we might have like subpages and everything, and we always want the source to work. So this is again where having dynamic content is a good thing, because if my source was always coming in as the actual path, I need to modify it if it's a subpage and it's in another folder or something like that, or if it's deeper in. Whereas this, I can just specify that it should be coming from the root folder, right? And I already, just like I did here, yeah. So just like this. So it should be images, assets, assets / images / logo.png. And then I also need to say that this is a relative path. And I think that's a relative URL. URL. And save that. Now, one thing that might actually have been broken, if I go in my assets and in my images, oh, it's there. Okay. Sometimes things happen a little differently. So if I go and look, I should have my logo. Awesome. Good. So my logo will come in, and this doesn't matter how deep of a folder I'm in. My logo will always appear because it's always getting it from the right location. After my logo, I need my title of the post. So that will just be, or we can do this. Oh no, what am I doing? Okay, this is okay. I just realized I'm on my default.html, so that's okay. My logo will always be here. I don't want just content here though. I have two different pieces. I have some content that's up here, and I have other content that's here. This one will always be the page title. Do I just write page? I already forgot. But yeah, it is page.title. Hey John, glad you could make it. Sorry about posting late over on Slack. And so page title, and then I'm just going to call this page description. I think I can just make stuff up pretty much as I go. So I'm going to do that and see if that works. And then what we're going to do is we'll come down. So the title area is this big area on the top. I have my image that will be coming in. I have my title. Oh, I should be specifying. See, does this make sense though? Yeah, this will be my H1 page title. As far as I know, maybe with Cramdown you can, which is a type of Markdown, but I don't know how to do it, so I'm just going to do this as a paragraph class equals, oh, I can't, this is an HTML file. This has to be H1. And the reason, actually, this is going to work for my default anyway, right? Anyway, we're going to do it like this, and we'll modify things a little bit later. Class is we'll call it subtitle. Subtitle. And this could be class title. So my title area, title, subtitle. And I'm missing something. I'm missing my, close that, and then I can close my paragraph over here. Save. Hopefully that's making some sense. Then I can come down and do this area here. So for this, now I'm going to be using the grid to do it, but this is what I want to experiment with, is doing the grid without any divs. I don't know if this is going to work. This is the experiment that I want to try for this. I'm literally just going to have, let's just do H2 most recent posts, because most recent post. Oh, I copied that from my last page. Blog title would go here. Copy. No, I don't even need that. Delete. Some content here. Title of the post is all the way up there. This could be like, I don't need this. This is just my content then. Content. And content. So I'd have all my content coming in. And then I need a footer at the bottom. Footer. And then inside my footer, I'm just going to put, for now, some set text that eventually we might change to something better. P. Okay. So, sorry, Youssef, is that okay to use a div instead of a section in HTML? Yes. Divs you can use for pretty much anything. Whereas section you have to be a bit more technically, if you're using a section correctly, you'd want it to be a bit more specific. This could be, definitely could be a div, a section, I mean. That could definitely be a section, but yeah, I've just been teaching intro classes all for the last 3 weeks where people don't like sections and headers and footers because they get confused, so they put divs everywhere. So I'm in the habit of doing that right now as well. But you're right, this could definitely be section, class, title, area for sure. So let's go and make an actual blog post. And for now, I'm using my index, and then we're going to fix this up to actually work properly. It's just I want to be able to sort of see what's happening on the fly. So page, oh, see, I already screwed up. Did I? If I take this out, because I'm using my page title over here, not here. So if I delete this from here, I'm just curious. Let's save this and go and see what we have. Refresh. Okay, so that did work. My home page, because that's the title coming from here. The normal content, that's this, the H2, and my footer. So it is working. It is working. No, the video lag seems to be coming from my side. Sorry about that, John. I don't know what's causing it, to be honest. My stream health keeps jumping from low to high and low to high. And I don't know why. I wish I could tell you why. Yeah, I thought my settings were okay. YouTube told me everything was good to go, and now it's going up and down. I have nothing else using the internet, so I don't know what's causing it. So I'm going to delete this content, and let's just bring in from here. Let's go and grab what I did. Title of the post. So I wanted the description. So let's see if this works. Description. I don't know if I can make stuff up here or not. Copy that and paste it here. Let's see what happens. I didn't get any errors here where it was generating my file. And it worked. There's the description coming in right there. Except perhaps, oh yeah, and there's my footer. Cool, so that worked. And then the content for this itself will go, so let's go and find my XD here. And I'll just copy, or I can't copy all that. Basically, just some lorem ipsum. Paste. And it's in Markdown, so I don't need to put any tags or annoying stuff like that. Copy, paste. Now I don't know how to do images in Markdown, so we'll come back to that in a second, or links. So we'll put those in 1 second. I'm just going to add a couple more paragraphs. There we go. So what are we going to do? What I want to do, I'm going to see if I can do one thing actually here for the video lag, because some might be driving some people crazy. I'm wondering, I don't know if this will actually change anything. Probably not. It's I'm just going to go in my settings. I don't know if I can make a change right now. Stream. No, that's not here anyway that I'm controlling it. Sorry, I'm looking at I'm using a tablet as my second screen and it's really tiny. Let's see if that fixes anything though. Yeah. This eventually will be a full video, and if it really doesn't work out, I'll make a new one if the recording on my computer is just as bad. So if I save that now, we should be getting... I need to put my live reload on, so all my text is coming in. Sweet. So this one wouldn't be my homepage. This title would actually be my blog post, let's just say. I know it's my index now. I'm going to change that eventually. I want to actually style stuff right now. Yes. Okay, so we can start styling. So I'm going to come into here and get rid of this. I don't know if I'm going to do like a proper... Yeah, we might as well. Just come into here in my... I just actually have to go back to that. This for 1 second. Okay, so it knows to import it from here. Cool. So in my Sass folder, I'm going to create a underscore typography.scss, and I'm going to make another new file, underscore colors.scss, and I will eventually do a bit more in there, but let's for the moment bring that stuff in. And actually let's go to here and we'll start by import colors and at import typography. I'm not going with a proper file structure and all of that, but we'll use our partials at the very least. So for, whoops, don't need that. For my colors, I have them all here. So let's go to my colors, and white is a nice simple white. Let's call, actually, I'm trying to get used to doing like this. Color white, color blue, copy, paste. Color, let's just call it pink. Usually I'd go with accent, but pink will have to do. Copy. It's really quiet over in the live stream. Oh, hi, Bilaji. It's really quiet over in the live stream though, guys. Don't be scared about asking questions, even if it's off topic or anything else whatsoever. I'm happy to chat. And copy this. It's not black, but we're going to call it black. Color black. Whoops, that's not my color black. Save. Okay, there we go. So my colors are good to go. Typography. Is it still freezing? Oh, it does look kind of frozen there, eh? Actually, one thing that might help. One second. Just to let you know what's going on. It's not receiving enough video to smooth stream as such. That's annoying, because I don't know. I don't want it. Oh, this is annoying. I'm actually wondering if this is causing it. No, that shouldn't be causing it. the audio is working perfectly, but not the stream, which sucks. That makes it kind of awkward. I'm going to try one more thing out. Not now. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to try one thing here. Let's just see what this does. Don't want that. Oh my goodness, don't want that. I'm just checking my stream settings here to see what's going on. Why is it so all over the place? Holy moly, it's jumping all over for my speeds. Just keep me up to date in the chat. Let me know if it improves in a few minutes. If not, I'll try restarting the stream. Yeah, okay, so hopefully the audio is still working okay. As Markdown goes, I don't have much experience with it either, but you'll see it a little bit more as I write in here. It's not, I don't know if it's something I'm gonna really grab a hold of, but I definitely see some of the good things with it. While the stream may or may not be working, I'm gonna do some boring stuff like getting my Google Fonts set up, which hopefully you guys have an idea of how to do. And while I do that, yeah, I'll do that. I don't remember what weights I need. I think I need all of them. So I have pathway that only has one weight, and I need cardo. I think there's only 3 in here anyway. Customize, yeah, that's fine. And import, copy that. And I'll just plug this right at the top of here, save. No. I never know if I can put it there, but I'm gonna put it right at the top of typography just to make sure they actually get brought in. Is it working better now? Now it works? Okay. I might have been screwing stuff up there. I was trying to get fancy with something. So I might have, hopefully that fixed it and we don't have any more issues. Makes it a little harder for me to keep track of things, but that's okay. So the Google fonts are there. Now I just have to actually use them. So let's do font family sans serif is pathway. It's a long one, so I'm going to copy it here. Oops, let's just... And my font family serif is this one. Okay, there we go. So save, whoops, I do that way too often. Save, main, let's just come on my main here. And I'm gonna be not doing best practices for my CSS, my SCSS, because I'm not gonna be making all the folders and files that I normally would. But let's just say body font family is font family serif. No, serif. Awesome, good. So I'm going to actually stop this and Jekyll serve live reload because I hate refreshing my browser and I don't know why I didn't leave that on from the beginning when I showed it to you guys. My internet connection seems to be having some major issues. Let me just, yeah, like if you can see here, this is the kilobytes per second up and down, and it's like huge swings, and there's nothing using the internet right now. So I don't get why the swings are so massive. And I don't know why it's even capping there. Let me just check one more thing. Output. I don't care if it uses all my internet. Hopefully that makes it work a little better. Yusuf, yeah, Railway is a nice font. I like Railway a lot too. Okay, so that's okay. So let's go and look at my design again. So I have my title of the post, and I want to be using the grid, and I'm actually going to put the grid on my body. And this is where I was saying I want to try something a little bit different with the CSS Grid. So I'm going to have, this is going to be grid template columns, and I'm going to want to name these probably. So it's going to be one FR just for the, it's going to use up all the empty space. So there's all the empty space. Then let's give this a name. So this one will be called, do I have to put them? I think so. Let's call this one container start. Then I'm going to have repeat 6 because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But I wanted to name this one too, I think. Okay, let's just do repeat 6 for now. And if I need to name more stuff, we will. Repeat 6. I'm going to give them min, max. I don't know if this is going to be a responsive site right away. I'm focusing on big screens for the moment because I do want to be looking at Jekyll a bit more, and I've already spent an hour and not really done much. So min max is, I don't know, I've made these like 260 here. So let's just say like 100 pixels, 250 pixels. We'll see what this does. So that should give me my 6. Then we'll have my container end, and then 1 FR. So hopefully, let's just break that up a little bit. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's 1 FR, my grid, and then 1 FR over there. So if this works, my whole layout should be broken right now. Oh, I forgot display grid. So you can see the spacing did get kind of weird, just because when you're using display grid, your spacing on your paragraphs, the margins stop collapsing, so they double space themselves. And I might have screwed up stuff here. I just want to look at my grid. Was I not supposed to put quotation marks on these things? Yeah, there we go. Okay, no quotation marks. Whoops. So there's my grid. So what I want to do now, is this going to work? Thanks, El Chico. John, you don't fancy doing my counseling course I am doing whilst watching? No. No thanks there, John. So I had my title area. Let's give that the background of color blue. Okay, now what I want my title area to do, body margin of 0. So I want my title area to take the whole thing. So I'm just going to do grid template columns 1/7. And grid columns. Grid column. Does that make sense, or is it? 1 second. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe 9. I thought we had. There we go. Okay, so it's just pretty much telling it take up the whole space. And then inside of there, see now, I'm not sure if this will work properly. Let's just do a text align center for now. Text align center. Color is color white. My dot title can be a different color. Not color. Font family sans serif. Text transform uppercase. And we'll just make the font size I don't know, 6 rem, make it nice and big. I'm not going to be worried about so much the styling. There we go. And margin 0 for now. Margin 0. Hi, ends? Ins? Any's? Sorry, man, you guys, names are hard for me already. Sorry if I mispronounce your name. Okay, so I'm going to just leave this. Let's just add some padding and then move on. Padding 3M0. Whoops, that's not on here. I want that on here. Padding 3M0. Okay, so that's starting to look a little bit more like what I wanted. Now, I'm going to make these be able to be a bit smaller. Okay, so what my plan is, and this is where it's a little weird, where my experimentations with the grid come in. Paragraphs are going to be, and actually, 1 second. Yeah, let's just say paragraphs for now. Hopefully the recording on my computer doesn't massively lag, but I will be putting this whole thing up on the YouTube channel. Yes, the whole thing will be up on the YouTube channel, not immediately after, because I might, if I have time, I might edit it, but we'll see. Maybe take a bunch of the junk out, or I might just do like a condensed version where I actually know what I'm doing. That might be a better idea. Well, it won't be exactly the same thing, but just focused on Jekyll maybe with the CSS stuff already done. So paragraphs, let's see if this works. Grid, template, grid column of, I don't want to take the whole thing. I want it to go from 1, 2, 3 over. What? Can't I turn the numbers on here somehow? I'm sure there's a way in layout. Display line numbers. That will make my life easier. Where are they though? They're supposed to be on area names. I don't have any area names. Where's my numbers? Oh, there they are. Awesome. So I want it to stop here. 3 over 6. This is in Firefox. You can put the grid line numbers and names and grid areas and all of that stuff on. So that's super, super handy if ever you need to. Oh, that's my footer. And so my footer should get the same thing as my title area. Background, color pink, color, was it white I went with? Let's try that. Text align center, padding 2M0. Okay. There we go. We'll do a margin top on this of 4M. My title area, margin bottom 4M. Okay, cool. So it's sort of working. The only problem is the spacing on everything. So paragraphs will get a margin of 0 on them. And my, whoops, yeah, it should be grid gap. So I do want gaps on my grids. On my columns, I want them to be 2M, and on my rows, I want them to be 1M. And hopefully I didn't get that backwards. I did. 1 and 2. So the space here is going to be 16 pixels, and my space here will be 32 pixels. And that's sort of what I want it to do. So I don't think this is best practice. I really don't think that we should be using... Oh, I didn't do it properly either. Something's wrong with the positioning of this. I want it moved over 1. 4 to 6. Is it 4 to 6? Oh, 2, 3, 1, 2. Do they not have enough room still? Oh, actually, I need it to go 1 more. And I need this. The max here is way too big. Probably. So this should be from 3 to 7, I think, is what I want. Yeah, that's more what I want. So let's turn off my grid now. Rules. Whoops, layout. I want to turn off my grid now. Refresh. No. Grid line numbers off. Body off. There we go. Okay. Yeah. So I think that looks decent. It's not amazing by any means. My font size on here should be bigger too. Font size 1.2 rem. I don't know. I'm just throwing out random numbers right now. I'm pretty happy with that though. So that's kind of cool. We can use paragraphs, and when I eventually get my images in, they'll be a little bit bigger. So Markdown now. I'm going to use a Markdown cheat sheet, and I should have prepped one of these ahead of time, but I didn't. Because I want to put my images in. So let's go back to my file. So let's just close these. I don't need my Sass and stuff anymore. Markdown. So I want to throw in a link. So let's just find links. So we just wrap the text that we want in this, like that. And then we just put this and do where we want it to go. So let's just say it's going to google.ca. I'm in Canada, so I'm used to google.ca. And that should give me a link in my text. Good. More important though is my images. So my image is inline style, reference style. I'll use the inline style. So right here, I want it to be, do I need the exclamation mark? I guess so. Alt text, yeah, because that's what's going to make it an image instead. Alt text will be an image because I don't know what it is. And then this, I guess I can use my, I'm just trying to think, I can do that. Now is this going to work if I use this? Because I want it to be assets / images / I think one's called mountain. Let's just bring in, oh, you know what? I can't do it this way anyway because I need to give it a class image. So I'll do it the way I know. So src is equal to, and then I'll bring in, so the source is equal to, it'll be assets / images / mountain.jpg, and that's a relative URL. I think that's how we do it. Yeah, good. I'm remembering some stuff. So if I save that, oh, whoops, save that. No, why not? At least I have the right thing here. I thought in Markdown you could write HTML. Hi, Bench Odie? Yusuf, why didn't I use height for my text area and use my padding instead? So that way, if I used height on here and then I added my image, it wouldn't be high enough anymore. Or if I change the content that's inside, I wouldn't be doing it. Or in the, I just wanted to make sure the text area. Yeah, so I just like using padding, or even here, I put margin bottom to make this space, but even in here with the padding, by having padding, if this becomes 2 lines, it doesn't screw up the height of the whole area. It's still going to work fine over here, or if I'm working up here, it's still going to look okay, even if this, which is on 1 line of text, becomes 2. So if this got smaller, now it's on 2, this distance is still the same. So that's why I would use padding as much as possible. That's interesting that the right thing is coming in here. So see, this is where I need a bit more work with. So what if I did this without, I didn't put my class on it anyway. So I'll leave all of that there. 1 second, let me just see what happens if I take all of this off and just do it. Broken. But at least it's coming in as an image now. And just for fun, if I change this to absolute, because you can make links to absolute links this way too. I just want to see. So this is the liquid thing here is working, but it's not bringing it in as an image. It's bringing it in as a paragraph. Markdown is bringing it in as a paragraph. What if I just did this? It's because it's in Markdown, but I thought in Markdown you could write HTML. Like if I did H2, hello, close H2. I always thought HTML was valid. Oh, is it want like something like that? Nope. So my hello is working, but my image isn't coming through. It's coming through as a paragraph instead. So if anyone knows why, I'd love to know. But we're going to keep going, and if I figure that out, I'll come back to that at a later time, because I want to actually make this blog work now. Okay, so right now it's working in the sense that I can create my posts. So let's come in back down actually to Jekyll's website. And actually, here's my assets. Does this have images? Static files. Oh, it's my content. I don't want to, let's go back. I'm going to worry about my image after. Back. Converting an HTML site to Jekyll. So I've done a bunch of this stuff already. So create your default layout. So I've done that. And then, for example, this paths were relative on your site. That's okay. This is all good. That's okay. Identify the content part. So we've done some of that. Create a couple of files with front matter tags. So let's make I have my index already. Let's make I don't want to even have blog posts. So this wouldn't really be my home page, but I'm going to leave that as my home page for the moment. Let's make a new file. I guess I just make it right here. I should have a blog folder probably, right? Whatever. I'm going to do it here for now. We'll call it blog post 1. Oh no, blog posts are different. I just remembered something. Blog posts, they give you very specific formatting for. This I'm okay with. Show posts on a page. Okay, so here we need a posts folder. So I'm going to make a new folder _posts. And inside the posts folder, we're going to make a post, and you have to do it like this. You have to name them year, month, day, title. It has to be done that way. So in my posts folder, we'll make a new file. So 2018, 02, and 17, and my first post.md. I'm pretty sure it could also be .html. It's going to bring either of them in. Now I need my front matter stuff, so I need those. This is going to be my title, is going to be my first blog post page test. I just want to put a long title. And my description, this is a description. And man, I already forgot. Is it template? Layout. My layout is default. If you don't put the layout default, I'm pretty sure it defaults to default. So now, actually, let's create a layout that will display the posts. Create a new file in layouts called home.html and add the following logic. Really? Okay, we'll do that. Let's see. I'll do what it says to do. Oh no, let's leave this. This is my very first post. And this will be my, this will be an H2. So the nice thing with this is like, this is an H1. This is an H2. You get the idea, right? This is an H3. The one problem with writing in Markdown is adding class names, but if you're writing blog posts, hopefully you don't actually need to be using too many class names. Here is some generic content. Okay, so let's save that, and then it says we need to make a new layout that will display the posts. Create a new file inside of layouts. Let's go and do this. Layouts, called home.html. New folder, home.html. Now, one thing is I'm looking at this. I'm not going to copy and paste, even though I could copy and paste, because I'm trying to learn what this is showing me. If I'm copying and pasting this, I'm not learning anything. I'm not getting used to writing it. So if ever you're trying to learn a new language, make sure you're writing things out, even if you're just copying what you're seeing on the side of the screen. I find it a lot better. Oh, yeah, I think YouTube blocks links. Okay, so my layout will be default. And what do I need to do? I want some content. Whoops. Some content, and then we're going to do this as a UL. So this is going to work for my home page anyway, my posts. So we're going to do this as a unordered list. Okay. So now we get to use a little bit of logic here. So for post in site.posts. So this is going to loop through, let's go and look. It's going to go into my posts folder. So site posts, it's going to go into posts. It's going to loop through them. And for every post that it finds, it should be creating something that looks like that. So for every post that it finds, list item a ref is equal to, oh, maybe that's why my image wasn't working. I'll try that after. So the href should be the post URL. Right, and then the post title will actually go here, which makes sense. Post title. So whenever it's going to automatically get the URL for it and put it as the link here, and it's automatically going to get the title for it and be what I can click on. Now this is having me also bring in the dates, but I don't actually want to bring in the dates. I want to bring in the description, and I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to try it out. So they do that still inside the li. So let's do it like this so I can really see what's going on. They do it as a span, so we'll do span. Span class equals post description. Let's do descript like that. And in here, I'm going to do, so again, I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm going to put post description, and I'm assuming it's going to pull in this here. That's my guess, and that's what I want it to do. Hi, Ravi. I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good too. How are you doing? Oh, about compiling images with paragraph tags. Thank you, Yusuf. Hopefully it works. I'll check that out in a second. So that should do, and I have to end, so span li, and after that I have to end my for loop. So I'm going to open this up and percentage symbol. So let's just do that again. And so then end for. So start the loop here, and then we're ending the loop here. So for every post that it finds that I've created, it will link to the post. It will do that. I also need a blog.markdown and specify the home layout. Oh, because I have my home layout. Okay, so this isn't exactly what I want, but we're going to follow this for the moment, and then I'll modify it to fit how I want everything to work. So let's come in and make a new, where am I putting this? In the home layout. Home. Create a file called blog.md in the root directory. Oh, in the root directory. So it doesn't go anywhere. New file, blog.markdown, and it needs, so I'm going to be changing this. Title, blog, and layout is home. And do I need, in this case, contents of the blog will be pushed into the content. So let's just put this is some generic content. And actually, I'm going to copy this. And on my index. Okay, let's take all of this. This is the blog post I already created. So I'm going to copy this. Copy this into here. Now let's make a new one. New file, 2018 02 17. My second post.md. Post that in here because I don't want to lose it. Then copy this, paste it in here, save. And okay, so we got the blog here. I don't have a description, so I'd have to bring my description underneath. You can see that the list is, this is some generic content is working. We can see that the content is coming here, which I wouldn't actually want any of. This could, or actually no, I do. I want this to be no, I want, let's just say recent blog posts. So that would, there we go. So recent blog posts, and then my UL is coming here. It's not styled the way I want it to, and the grid is breaking everything, but at least it's working. So if I click on this, it will bring me to my second post, which is having nothing right now, oddly. My first post is working, so that's good. This is my very first post. Why is my second post not working? That's interesting. The layout of default should work, right? The layout is default. This is okay. Oh, there we go. It is working. That was weird. I just resaved it and refreshed, and there we go. So good. This is more of what we want things to look like, right? So it's getting there. So let's go back to my index page now. I don't need you. I'll leave that there for now. So home. This is my home. Now why does home need a layout is what I don't get. Because this is a layout. That's kind of, if I take this off, what happens? And let's go back to my, well, that's what happens. It breaks everything. Oh, I get it. I get it. So what's happening is this is just placing the content in, and then it's using the default for the layout. Aha. Okay, that's good, because I want to use default as my layout, sort of. But I just want to make a change to this too. Yeah, okay, good, good. That's going to make my life easier because I want to keep everything the same. I just want to add something different in the middle. So there's two different things. I'm going to make, I'm just going to duplicate this one. Can I duplicate? I can't just duplicate? Can I duplicate up here? Collapse, no. Copy, paste. Okay, good. So let's just rename this one. This is my third. Let's change the date on this one to the 18th. And I want one more, so we'll copy you, paste you. And the reason I'm doing this is because I only want the home page to display 3 of them. This is my 4. That's fine. Save that. Okay, and let's go back to my blog. We're on my blog. Okay, so you can see the descriptions are also, they are coming in here, which is perfect. That's what I want them to be doing. So what I want to be happening, if we come and look back at my design, is I want my home page to have this at the top, which we have. So I just have to, let's go back to index. So this title shouldn't be blog. This should be my awesome blog. And this should be my description. Description, like that. Oops, space, space. Okay, so then I get my description. Then what I want is my most recent. So I want first to be the most recent post. And I only want the most recent post to appear here. So I'm not sure if, no. So I think that should actually come to here. And this, yeah, so my home is, so I have my content there. So what I'm going to do first is here I'm going to do H2, my most recent, not my most recent post. Now I want to use this, so I'm going to leave that there. Then we're going to come down here and have we want this area down at the bottom. So what we're going to do for that is, it's quiet again in the chat. If you have any questions, please don't be shy. And let me know if the stream is working better now. Hopefully it is. So down over here, we want this area. So that's going to get its own div. So that's going to be a div, or you know what, that'd be more of a section. Section, older posts. And in there, we're going to have, ooh, this might be trickier than I thought. I'm going to start just with this. Do I even need, I don't need any content to be brought in. All I need is this and this, because I don't have any like content that I'm writing. The homepage should just be populated with all of that stuff automatically. So it's going to say most recent post. I want only the most recent one. Then I want some older ones here. And this, I don't need that 3 times. That should just be once. So section, so it's not as hard as I thought. H2, older posts, we'll call it. Now I just need to figure out how to actually do that. Refresh. Okay. And the layout we'll fix up in a second. So what I want now is, let's go back to here. So all this, I'm going to skip through 4 loops. This is what I want. So 4 posts in site, and you can also do like by category, which is cool. And I don't think I'm gonna have time, but I might look at this. And if I get really into Jekyll, I'll do some more stuff on it at one point. So what we could do is 4 posts in posts space limit 1. So that means on my home page, we get 1. So only one of them is coming through. So only the most recent one is here. And then in my older posts, right now it's just listing everything. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Why do I only have, is it automatically, let's just make a couple more posts. And my 4th post should be that one. So let's just change number 4. Whoops. 444. And I'm going to make one more. Copy paste. Rename. And 5. And we'll just call this 5 so I can keep track of what's going on. So it's not really working. Is it? Oh, 5. My first 5, 4. See, this isn't my most recent. Oh, the dates are all, this my 3rd. Let's change the date on these 2. Rename. It is probably coming in. Let's do this one as if it's on the 20th, and we'll rename number 4 to be on the 19th. Save all of that. I just, Oh, because those dates haven't come, so it's not using them yet. Interesting. Okay. Today's the 17th. Rename. Whoops. Cancel. There might be a better way to rename stuff. 17th. Let's just do this one. That should be 01. 17. The second post can be from the 10th. The 3rd post, rename the 11th. And the 4th post. The 4th post, rename the fourth post, rename the 15th. 5, 5, 4. Yeah, so they're going in order that they've been created. So I want to limit. I thought I limited that one already. Close, 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 close. Did I not? Oh, I didn't limit this. So this one for post and posts, I want to do a limit 3 on that one. Now the only problem is I have 5 here and 5 here. So I'd rather it's 5 and then 4, 3, 2 over there, right? Yeah, thanks Simon for mentioning that. I didn't see it until just after, but yeah. I thought it always compiled them and you actually had to do like, I thought there was like a flag or something you could add to the file name or to this thing up here to say that it shouldn't be published yet. Or maybe that's just for drafts. But it's pretty smart that means you can just like post date all your stuff and have them automatically show up, I guess. You probably have to recompile though, but that's still pretty cool. Okay, so now let's go see how I can. Does this talk about how I can do it? For loops in Liquid, certain properties are available. First or last iteration. Let's see. Let's go look at this. This looks like what I want. So I can get the first, the last index. Oh, so maybe the index would be able. For in collection front page products. For loop index, no products. Oh, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Returns the current index of the loop. No. If collection front page products contains 4 products, this collection has, yeah, that's okay. Yeah, for loop object can only be used with 4 tags. For first, for index, last, length. Returns true if the first iteration, if it's the first iteration of the loop, false if not. That's not what I want. I have a feeling the logic on this is a little bit, it's probably in here, and I'm just, returns the current index of the for loop starting at 1. Would I be able to use that? No, because I don't want, it's not quite what I want. Not quite what I'm after. Maybe it is, but I don't think that's what I'm after. There must be a way to do what I want. Let's fix my layout and I'll come back to the Jekyll stuff in a second. So I think this gives you a good idea of what Jekyll can actually be used for. So I can see here that you know, we're bringing in what would normally be dynamic content, things we'd want to be using PHP for. I've been a little bit all over the place in creating it, so I will do a bit of a rundown on how it's all working after. Let's save this. Save. I don't want to break anything yet. And let's go back to my site because I want to actually make it look good. For loop minus last. Can I do minus last? I'll look that up in a second. Let's go look at that now. Oops, that's not what I wanted. Sorry. I wanted this. Was that mentioned in this thing? Minus last, limit. Can I just do that here? For loop. See, even the limit thing, like they mentioned the limit property. Let's go look here. This might be what I actually wanted to look at. I can create breaks. Cause the loop to stop iterating when it encounters the break tag. Oh, I could do for I in, so I could do for post insight posts. That's sort of what I'm doing. Oh, the index minus for loop last. Oh, we can offset. Haha. I think that, yeah, I think you got the right idea there, Simon. But here, let's offset 2. So if I do limit 3, offset 1, or we can even do a range. Oh, cool, we can do a range. So the range, can I just take this all into a range then? In for post insight posts, for I in 3 to 5. Oh, no, that won't work. We'll try the offset. If array 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, in array offset 2. So if I just do offset 1, 5, 4, that worked. Cool. So we can just that makes it easier. We can just offset it by 1. Super, so that worked. And now we can actually make this look a little bit better. So let's go and open up my Sass file again. Not in the site one, I want my assets. Okay, so how can I actually get this to look the way I want it to? So I've done this for my paragraphs, and I'm gonna have to do this also for paragraph H1, H2. That's working. Why isn't that one working? And my UL. I probably should have given... Why are these going over here? Oh, that has its own div. That's right. So this is working. And then my div over there, so that was a... what did I call it? Older posts. Not very original. Older posts. So my section older posts will get background of color black, and then the grid column 1/9, so it goes from one side of the page to the other. Let's give that a bit of padding. Padding, what did I use on the other ones? 2M0. We'll stick with the same one for now. Color on all of it should be white. Color white. I'll fix those links up and everything in a second. My H2, actually title or whatever. My CSS here is really messy. Font family should be font family serif, sans serif, save. Okay, so what I'm going to do down here, which is I think the most interesting part of what I'm doing with the grid maybe, is I'm going to say that older posts is display grid, and I wanted to use the same grid I'm using everywhere else. So what I can do, actually let's take this margin top off here, and the margin, I'm going to leave it like that for now. Oh, the grid gap, that stinks. Might have to change things up a little than how I'd planned it, but older posts. I'll give this the margin top though for now. Margin top of 4M, and I just realized because of the layout, anyway, we'll see what happens. So what I want to do here is display grid, and I'm going to do grid template columns inherit. We don't have subgrids, and subgrids would be the best part. I'd want to use subgrids, but I can't use subgrids because of, and actually I don't need this to be on here. I can't use the subgrids because they don't work yet. They don't exist. Oh, I didn't need that up there. Whoops. Hopefully they're going to come with the second specification of CSS Grid, but right now we don't have the second specification yet. So what I want to do is on my older posts, all right, H2, let's just do text transform uppercase, and this is like super messy. It's embarrassing my organization here, so please don't copy the organization that I'm doing. And actually, let's turn my inspect back on because I want to turn my grid on. So because I'm using the inherit grid template columns, it's the exact same ones that are coming into here, except it doesn't seem to be exactly the same. Older posts. If I turn this grid, the two grids should overlap. Oh, because I don't have my grid gap. Grid gap inherit. There we go. Okay. So, oh, my line numbers were all, yeah, whoops, go back. So what this is doing is it's inheriting the template from the body, and it's inheriting the gap from the body. So the grid in here is exactly the same as the grid I was using there. So I can use all the same numbers and lay things out on the same grid. The only problem is my older posts are not really set up properly here because they're all lining up based on this. And I don't want to be doing that. So I don't know if this is best practice either. Maybe they should get their own classes and stuff like that. Might be a better way of doing it, but I'm going to do it like this. So the H2 will get a grid column, and I'm just going to make it bigger, 2/8, because I want it to start out here instead. My UL will actually get the same thing. So the UL inside of older posts will be starting over here. My UL also needs, actually all the ULs will get this. So let's come out to here. All my ULs will get margin 0, padding 0, list style none, because I don't want to have any of those dots on them. Hi, the 4-minute process. Hope things are going well. How you doing? Yeah, the subgrids, I don't know. I keep hearing about subgrids. I don't know when they're actually going to be implemented. I think everyone actually wanted them. The browser people said it's hard, from what I understood of the whole thing. Because there's some things that would be nice to have, but the browser people who do it have limited resources and can only implement certain things at a certain pace and all of that. So I don't blame them either. And this works. You just have to inherit some stuff. Now, it doesn't 100% work if it was like a smaller grid inside, but because it's taking up the full width of the screen, so it's the same width as my body, the columns will line up perfectly. If it wasn't the same width, I don't know if it would work the same as a subgrid. Oh, excuse me. Shouldn't be drinking bubbly water while I'm doing this. Okay, so now I want each of these. So I'm going to say actually, I want my ULs aren't 2/8, just my H2. And I want my UL to be grid column span 2. Does that work? Sort of. Not quite what I wanted though. I want them to... Oh wait, no, it's... I was right. Sorry. UL. That's fine. Save that. And my list item is grid column. Oh, is this even... Oh, this won't work. Oh no. I didn't think of that. I wasn't actually planning on making these with ULs either, right? I was planning on doing them... Do they have to be ULs? Because they're nested inside... Do I give my... come on. I was following this, and it does make sense. That is sort of a list of blog posts. So it's not a terrible idea. The only... I'm not sure if I'm going to do it like that. What if I did, instead of this, if I didn't have the UL here, and I just did this as a div class equals blog post, close blog post, and I saved that. That just broke everything, but that's okay. So I don't need this UL here anymore. This one I could even take out of a UL probably too. So then my blog post. See, it's still not really going to work. Maybe it will work. Let's just see what happens. Blog post, see, because they want to start there, but what if I just did grid, column, span 2? It's going to screw things up a little bit. Oh, I'm still getting that. 1 second. Inspect. That's interesting that it's giving me, it's not doing what I thought it would do. 1 second. Blog post. Because everything's in one blog post? Huh? Why is everything in one blog? Oh, my goodness. It's a little better. So then now they're spanning 2. Now this, again, I was copying what Jekyll was suggesting that I do for my blog posts. So I have the link from my title and then a span. But if I change the span to a paragraph, that just makes my life easier, right? Okay. The only thing is I don't want anything in that first one. I didn't want to have to make a container. The whole idea with this is I wouldn't have to do a container. And now I think, or I could, okay, maybe we could still do this. Blog post and then blog post first of type, grid, column, to start 2. Did that work? 2 grid column. Is it not grid? If I do it like that, so I have to do grid column like 2. I can just do 2 span 2, can't I? I haven't done the grid in a while, guys. That didn't work. Grid 2/4. Not 3, 4. Or is it even 5? No, 2/4. So there we go. Cool, that does work. So, I can do it without it. Cool, cool, cool. The only problem is this gap, and that's coming because I can't. This space is because I used grid gaps on my rows as well as my columns to try something, but it didn't really work the way I wanted it to. Only because of this. This is the only thing that is really causing an issue. Blog post. Should I change the color of these links? Probably. How did I do it in my layout? The title is big like that. Okay. Oh, and I had a read more button. We'll add the read more button as well. Yeah, I could have the UL display as grid, and that would work as well, but then I'd have to give it its own... I'd have to give the UL its own grid that's different from everything else, and that would probably make a lot more sense than what I'm doing right now, to be honest. I'm just seeing how much I can push it with using one grid and just inheriting it everywhere. And that's why I really wanted, if I could just turn off my margins on everything and have the grid gap be my margins, it would sort of create a nice vertical rhythm on stuff too. But that didn't really work the way I hoped it would because of this silly thing. And I could put I could be really lazy and just say margin top -1m. Would that work? Yeah, but then, well, now I have a space on the bottom. So maybe that wouldn't work. The margin for my grid gap is set. Where is my grid gap? All the way on the body. So I did 1m for, let's turn my grid on. So it's 1m this way, so it's just creating the spacing between everything that way. as 1em, and my spacing between columns is 2. And the main reason it's 2 is because I wanted to make sure there was enough room between these ones here. So let's go and style my blog title, which would be this one, class equals blog title. And let's add in a button at the bottom. A class equals blog link. This should be blog title. The link will be read more. And the href for it will be the same as this. Copy that, paste that here, save. Let's just see how that looks. Read more, read more, read more. Good. So if I come back to here, I don't need to be in older posts. I want this to be everywhere. Oh man, I'm so ashamed of this file. But let's keep going for time's sake. Well, whatever. What time did I start this at? Has it been 2 hours? Holy moly. I've got 1 more hour in me at the most. I have a bunch of other stuff that I want to be doing today too. So what can we do here? My blog. Oh, I have my blog post there. Oh, that's all an older post though. Okay, so let's just do blog post. No, let's just, okay, blog title. Font family is font family serif, sans serif. Font size should be bigger. I don't know, 2em. I have all this in my styles, but we'll just, that looks pretty good. Color should be color white. The text decoration should be none. The color is white, text decoration is none. Text transform upper case. Text decoration none, and line height of like a 1-ish, I guess, because that distance looks really big. That looks pretty good. These should definitely have a hover on them. So we'll do an and hover. And what do we do for my hover? I didn't really think of that. Let's just change the opacity. Opacity of like 0.8. And here we'll do a transition of opacity. Ease out to 100 milliseconds. Make that a little bit more obvious. 0.6, I guess. And that should be good. Let's turn off the grid because I think that makes it pretty obvious that you can click on them. And now my buttons. So my blog, did I call it blog button? Blog link. That makes a lot of sense. Display inline block. Padding 1em, 3em. Man, I should have made a mix-in. I'm not making a mix-in now though. Font family, font size, line height, color, text decoration. I need a lot of this stuff. Paste all that in there. I don't need the line height necessarily. This is going to be probably not changed. Font family is, we need a background on there. Background of color pink. Let's see how that looks. Way too big. 0.7, 2.4. I have a tendency with my buttons, if ever you're curious about styling, of using about this ratio all the time. Yeah, well, the top looks bigger than the bottom because of this font, isn't it? Huh? Why is it? That's weird. I didn't know I could do that. It's text. Why is it taking it like... That's so weird. Okay, is that a Firefox thing? Maybe it's a Firefox thing. That's interesting. Okay. Anyway, so read more. That's okay. Let's just give that a margin top on it, and we'll leave it like that. Margin top 1em. And we should give it a hover, and hover background. Let's just change the opacity to opacity 0.6. It's not, I wouldn't necessarily want to actually change the opacity, but it's dimming out instead of getting brighter. So I find it's for this, it doesn't bother me. For the button, it's kind of weird, but just for the sake of brevity, I'm going to keep it like that. Yeah. Let me just check one thing. Oops, not what I wanted to be doing again, but that's okay. What else? Let's see. Now I did that for here. So let's come back to my home and H2, my recent posts. I'm going to just copy that and paste. Oh, that shouldn't be white. Did I say that the color should be white on those? A linear gradient on my buttons, Yusuf? We could put a linear gradient on them. I don't have another variable that might work too well. Could try it out though. Why not? We're here to play around. Color pink, so background, that's on my link. So we could do background is a linear gradient. We'll do my color pink. Actually, one thing that you can definitely do with these, in general, I find linear gradients work really well when they're subtle changes. So I could do then like an RGBA of, or not even RGBA, let's do, oh man, is it mix? It is mix. So I can do like mix color pink with, I don't know. Oh man, I forgot how this works actually. I'm going to be making a video on it really soon. I don't use it often enough. Mix. This is a Sass thing. Oh, wait. Okay, yeah. I wrote the script for this not long ago. It's going to be something I'm filming today, later on for my Sass course. If you're curious, there's a link down below in the description. So I want my color pink, and I want to mix it with this color, which was my color black. So my second color will be a 50% mix of those two. Except it's not working. I should be able to do that. I'm getting an error. It doesn't like something I'm doing. Oh, come on. That's or is it? I'm pretty sure they're comma separated when you mix. Okay, let's just take the mix off for a second and just put black here. Whoops. Just to make sure. Okay, so that's working. So why can't I mix? Yeah, see, color, and weight. And the weight is optional. So let's just undo. Do I not have a, yeah, I have a color black. What if I just put black here? I just want to see if this is, is that Jekyll's? Let me just make this bigger. This, because my font size on it's big, I don't, line 69. Line 69, it's not line 69. Oh, I am missing. Oh, that was me. I was just missing a thing. So there I can mix my color pink with the black, but I want to mix it with my color black. So that will give me something like that. So it's mixing my pink color with this color, so it's a bit more subtle. And then if I want, I could do like 70%. If I remember right, it's gonna be 70% pink and 20 or 30% black. So if I made this 10, it would be 10% pink and 90% black. And if I make it 70, it's more pink. You know, it's mixing 70% pink, 30% of this black color together. And let's just do this at 90 degrees because I think it'll look nicer. Oh, whoops, that doesn't go here though. That goes all the way here. There we go. So it'll go sideways instead of up and down. Not sure I like that actually. What about 45? I'll leave it the original way. we'll leave it like that. I think that actually looks better. So yeah, a cool little Sass trick there. If you didn't know, you can mix colors together. It's always 2 colors though. I don't think you can do more than 2. But you could, I guess, mix inside a mix. That would work. So this is white and it shouldn't be white. That was my blog title. That just means I need to come into older posts. I'm wondering if I should just use blog title has a color of inherit actually. So it inherits the color from whatever it's inside of. There we go. That worked. So if it's here and the color is set to black there, it'll inherit that color. And over here, it will inherit the color of whatever it has here. Perfect. Good, good, good. I'm happy with that. And actually, that means here, instead of doing opacity, I'll do my background instead. And the background will just change to color pink. I don't know if that'd be too subtle though. Yeah, you can definitely see it. Oh, it's flashing. Oh, because it goes from a linear gradient to not a linear gradient. Ugh, no. Never mind. Or, actually, what if I did color pink to color pink? So it's still a linear gradient. Yeah, that works. We could do that for my buttons. So they sort of pop a little bit when you hover on them. Cool, I think that worked. Good, good, good. I'm happy with that. So I'm actually kind of happy with how this is working out right now. It should be somewhat responsive. It's going to break at really small sizes, but it should be somewhat responsive because of the min-max that I set on it. We can get down pretty small. It'll work at large sizes. So that's pretty good. Now the one thing we need to fix is that image that wasn't working. That was on my first post that I did. Here where my image wasn't coming in, and Yusuf, you'd shared a link. So let's go check that out. Let's see what happens here. Stack Overflow, our good friend image. Yeah, that will work. Oh, I just have to wrap it in a paragraph tag? Is that seriously what I was doing? Like, oh, okay. It's probably this one. Second. Let's try this one. So here, if I put this in a paragraph, save that. Now we have to go find that page. Whoops. That wasn't this one. That's my second. That was my second. I didn't really read this. I'm really skimming. Oh, I should have looked at the answer, not the question, eh? Here's an example, blah, blah, blah. I hope... Oh, I hope I don't have to do that. Or I have a simple solution, is just not to use Markdown then. No. It's still screwing things up here for me. Except I don't want this, I can put this back to a relative path. Okay, so let me just check this out again. Inspect. But how's that even doing? Like, how is Markdown even getting this to show up like this? The main reason I'm worrying about this at all is because I need a class. So one thing, let's just try doing this as a Markdown image. So I'm going to keep this here. Let's just see if I can get it to work as a Markdown image before I worry about anything else. So a Markdown image is exclamation mark, alt text here, and then I just wrap this in like that, I believe. So if I save that, I see my alt text. I don't get my image. Assets, images, mountain.jpg. Is it not mountain.jpg? Site, assets. Oh, I don't have my images. Really? How come it's not taking that? File folder. I didn't look at this, but what if I just call it img? And what if I rename it now? Rename images. But see, I'm seeing alt text here, but it doesn't even look like a broken image. But no, it is. But see, it's still wrapping it in a paragraph, which I don't want. Cannot load the image. Images. Oh, mountains. That would help. So this is actually going to load my image. Okay, so it is loading my image in, which is good. The problem with all of this is it's wrapped in a paragraph tag, and that's going to screw me up because I wanted to be able to break out of the container by changing how my image is laying out. Markdown. Why are you doing this to me? What if I just... No, because even if I took this space out, it would put it as inside of the previous paragraph, right? Yeah, it would just... Then it's like part of my previous paragraph. Yeah, then it's inside that block. Is it not possible to images? Here's our inline reference. That's fine. Images. Here's our logo. So inline style. That's fine. See, now the one thing with this is I'm going to take this post. Let's just rename this file .html. Oh, whoops. Oh no, okay, I thought I broke everything. Now the problem with that is I don't have like everything. I need to put everything inside of paragraph tags, right? But I'm pretty sure img src is equal to my mountains. How do I do text wrap on here again? I forgot the shortcut for my text wrap. That's all okay. There's my image. I am Canadian, Simon. Good guess. And I just want to see. Okay, so I think that's going to work. So if I do just like... So you don't have to use Markdown to use Jekyll, which is good because some of us are more comfortable with our HTML. And I wanted to do this as a bit of an experiment in Markdown because I do think writing blog posts in Markdown would be easier. So you don't have to worry about putting your p tags in and stuff. But if I can't add classes to images or easily have images that aren't inside a paragraph, for the layout that I'm trying to do now, it wouldn't work, which doesn't mean anything for anything else. Okay, so my image isn't working, but at least it's there. So I'm going to give this a class is equal to. And the class is equal to... and one cool thing I think I could actually do. Source. I'm wondering... No. I'm going to try in a minute. But let's just try this like image wide. So my whole idea here was that... Let's go to the bottom. It's a big mess here anyway. Image wide could be grid column 2/8. And I could have nice images that are wider. Now width, let's say max width. No, width would have to be 100%. Because I don't want it to go too far. So there we go. So I get this sort of nice image that's wider than the text. Now the one problem with it is way too high. So I'm actually going to give it a height of say 30 viewport height. Now, as you all know, that will smoosh my image and it will look like poop, which I don't want happening. So we can use the awesome object fit. Don't use object fit in production. It has pretty crappy browser support. But it lets us set the width and height on the image itself, and then just like background image cover, you can do that, and it works really well. I wish I could cook dinner in 10 minutes. My dinners are usually, actually tonight's will be nice and easy because there's no kids at home. My dinners can be quite long. I think you can rewind actually. I'm pretty sure the settings for the thing were DVR or whatever, so you could rewind stuff. So I could have a wide image like that. And yeah, I like this too, John, without having the container. I just don't know if I'd make a full site like this. The whole idea here is let's experiment with the grid and see if I can make it work without a container and all of that. And the fact that I can is pretty cool. Just using 1FR, so it's automatically just going to adjust, right? Like I don't even have to really worry. I could make it like a min-max of like 10 pixels, 1FR maybe on the two sides, just so like there is a minimum. So it wouldn't, like if this gets smaller, smaller, smaller at one point, you know what? It's just working. That's great. I'm pretty happy with that. So yeah, there's no container here. It's all just set on the body. This is one of the first things I thought of, but I never actually tried playing around. Or even here, you can see it is actually touching. Oh, I don't have the grid up there. Sounds better than what I'm going to be having tonight. I'm having leftovers tonight, actually, probably. Whatever's in the fridge. Yeah, this video will be available in the future, Simon. I was thinking of editing it, but it's going to be so long, I don't know if I'll edit it. And I know the stream was really bad at the beginning, so I'm hoping the recording on my computer isn't as bad, but it might be that you have to deal with a crappy stream at the beginning. It won't be available immediately because I've set it to private when it saves the file, but it'll be available eventually, probably within a week. John, the only reason you cannot use it is the grid support, and therefore flex fallback wouldn't be as good. Yeah, if I was doing a personal site, I'm thinking of redoing my own site just using grid, because anyone who's visiting my site right now, since the only place they're coming from is YouTube, they're probably on up-to-date. They're probably on up-to-date browsers, so they would be up-to-date and it would work, so I'm not too worried about it. But for a client, I wouldn't use it. And yeah, because then you'd need the extra markup anyway for the Flexbox, because you'd need your containers and everything. So yeah, but eventually. Yeah, sadly, I wish object fit. You could, maybe a background image. Actually, let's go. Can I use.com? It used to not be good, but that was like a few months ago. You never know. I remember it not being the best though. Object fit. And it's not terrible actually. Well, 92%. That's pretty good globally. And that's just partial support in Edge refers to object fit only supporting image. I've only ever used it on an image. So as long as you don't need Internet Explorer 11, you're good. Yeah, that sucks. I don't know why. Actually, Edge support is growing. It's at 1.1 compared to 2% for IE. So that's a good sign. So almost both of them are so minuscule. But everything else is supporting it, and it's only on images, but for us, that's fine. All right, so I don't know what else I want to do with this. I should probably make that a link to the top. So I'm going to go back. Or here, actually, one more thing I wanted to do. I did want to be able to put a small image in as well. So here, at the end, I did want to be able to do an image class equals image. Is it small or normal? We call it small. CSS, and I'm just going to copy this. And I'm going to try another thing with Markdown here in a second. Not with Markdown, with Jekyll, because I think it could be cool. Assets, images, I forget what my other image was called. Road. Default home main. So here the idea would be I could have the exact same thing for my image small, but this would just be like a 3/7 then. Anyway, you see where the image would be. What did I do wrong there? Didn't I just look at it and see that it was called road.jpg? This is in site, images, road.jpg. I have no source. What do you mean I have no source? Oh, can't have two SRCs. There we go. Okay. So there we go. And then I could have my smaller images as well. So we could do wide images and ones that fit. So I think that's kind of neat and fun and cool. Yeah, so I think that would be good. And Yusuf, does which work outside of a p tag? The image can't be in a p tag, which is why I'm not in Markdown anymore. Just because in the Markdown, it was causing more of a trouble. It was placing it in a paragraph, and because I want it on the grid, if it's in the paragraph, it's not on the grid anymore. Yeah, kind of annoying. And I keep forgetting I can look here and you guys can see me. I'm not used to that. So, okay, so that's good. So one thing I want to see if I can do is actually up here write my images. So say I said like image mountain. Would this, could I then just like take this out of here and write it up here, and then here write image mountain? Now would that work? Oh, that's so cool. Oh no, it didn't work. Image small, I got it. It just didn't get. Why is there a before on my image? What? Image class, image small. And then would I have to do src is equal to, could I do, I'm just, whoops, no space. I'm just experimenting here. I want to see if I can do stuff like this with Markdown. Inspect. So there's my image. src is nothing. So then could I just do this and no, it doesn't work, eh? I was hoping I could just like invent something here and use it down here. Oh wait, I'd have to do page, right? Page dot. How cool! That worked. So if I go back to how it was before, could I still do page dot? Ah, damn. Why not? Oh, because it's bringing in src. It's bringing in whatever I had up there. Okay, so I can't do that. Maybe not as useful, but it means I can, I undid it. I can put things up here and then use them down below in other ways. So that is good to know. That's kind of cool, but it's not working the way I want it to. Just because the relative URL just does make stuff so much easier. Because again, right now, because it's the relative URL, this is my second blog post. But my blog post is in a posts folder, you know, so here, 2018. So it's getting put inside of 2018. And then in 2018, it's getting put in a month folder. And then in the month folder, it's getting placed in the day folder. And so like the final actual thing to make this work, if we inspect element on this, oh, well, it's just showing it me like, oh, right. Just never mind. It's just going to the root folder anyway. Anyway, it's fine. Maybe I don't really need that relative link then. If I did it like this, it would break things, right? Am I in the wrong file? I hope not. Anyway. No, maybe what I was saying was completely wrong. Let me just see here, John. I use Grid recent project. Oh yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, John, the only way I could get the images to work was by changing this over to an HTML document instead of a Markdown document. I got the images working in the Markdown document, but they're placed inside of, it would be like P and then close P here. So it's wrapping the image in a paragraph. And then if I save that, it won't let me escape my boundaries of the paragraph. Because the paragraph is on the grid. There's probably ways that I could actually get it to break out. There are ways I could get it to break out actually. But I like this for simplicity's sake. Yeah, so that's that. I want to link my logo at the top. So for that, I'm going to go over to my default. And where was my logo? So here's my logo all the way at the top. So that should be wrapped in an A, href. And I don't know where I want that to go yet. So I have to think about this a little bit. And then after I do this, I'm going to sort of figure out and explain Jekyll a little more now that I've played around with it for 2.5 hours. And I think I understand it a bit more than I did before, even though I'm far from an expert. So this should just link to... is there a way just to like choose home? I mean, it's my home, so this should just be like index, right? Like that, probably. So if I click on this, it should always, on all my pages now. There we go, good. So it is working, and it's doing it on all my pages. So again, the advantage of Jekyll over just writing, and Jekyll's not the only one, there's lots of static site generators, but it's all about just being able to make the change once and it's going everywhere. So my footer down here, this is a pretty crappy footer that I put in. So if I go and find my default layout where I have my footer, you come in here, copy this, paste, save. I have my 3 there, but my 3 lines are on all my pages already. So a lot like using PHP on something, but without the need of a database or anything like that, and server-side stuff going on. It's all static sites that this is generating on the fly. So when you look in your site folder, all of the folders and files and everything have been automatically created for you, which is really, really cool. And here the plan, I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to rename it to have an underscore in the front. So any underscore thing in your main folder is ignored. So layouts, posts, Sass, site, all these things are automatically ignored. My Sass is being automatically done once I finally set it up properly. It was automatically being compiled. So that's nice. You don't have to set up anything. The live reloading is also automatic, which is really, really cool and handy. Yeah. I wish the Markdown, the images, again, the images are fine. And I don't know if I'd actually have a layout like this in the real world. But just with what I'm doing now, I think that a I'm wondering. I think Markdown would be fine for most people most of the time, even just to bring in the images. And once you get used to how Markdown works, I think. Adding class names in Markdown's a bit of a pain too, though. If you need to use class names on a lot of stuff, Markdown. But with Jekyll, you just save it as an HTML file. You can work on that too. It uses both of them. Okay, so I think I've done everything I want to do. And hi, Technobe. Welcome to the live stream. I'm trying to think of what else I'd want to do. For this, does anyone have any suggestions, any questions on things you'd like me to see and try to do and figure out? I'd be glad to try them, because let me just go look at my design. Yeah, more or less, I nailed it. I guess my link colors could be fixed. And I'm not refactoring all this code. I think what I will do, though, is eventually do a video series on the very basics of Jekyll. I don't know Jekyll well enough to do an in-depth series on it, because you can see my configuration file has one little thing in here, and normally you'd have you can do a lot more with your configuration file. Yeah, the configuration.yaml's not doing very much right now, as well as my, what else can we do here? It's the only one that I think would need more attention. I can go back and actually, let's go look here. I didn't set up a navigation, but that I'm not going to do now. The includes we've been doing. So again, you can include sidebars. We can include other stuff. Sitemap I'm not worried about. Yeah, so if you do have a thing, just watch out if you're installing Jekyll, it's going to want to install with like a predefined theme and everything. If you just follow the normal home stuff here. Oh, install issues. What are the issues with Jekyll installations on most hosts? There shouldn't be any, I think. GitHub. Wait, I guess the only one I've never actually done it, but I know with GitHub pages, it's all done. You can easily do it, and it's free, which is pretty awesome. If you've used GitHub pages, another one that it would work really well with is Netlify. Netlify is what I use for my website, very similar to GitHub pages. The only difference is you don't actually need to have a GitHub account. I'm not logged in. I don't know. Is that going to bring me right in? I think it is. So it automatically generates things. So if you have it linked, and the same with GitHub, if you push a change, it automatically generates it on the fly and it's done. Same thing here. If I update my GitHub, so you can see this is deploys from GitHub. So if I push a new change to my master branch, that is pushed live. And if I was using Jekyll, it would work, from what I understand, without any issues, because it's all static files. It's just HTML, CSS files. There's nothing else going on. It's generating the pages and then it's getting uploaded, is the way I understand it. So it doesn't actually cause any issues along the way. Yeah, and it's relatively easy to set up for both of them. Netlify is super easy, but they're both pretty easy to set up. Yeah, Simon, I'll definitely do one at one point. I do have a lot of other videos to be doing, but now that Jekyll's a lot easier than I thought it would be. The hardest thing is if you're on a PC is getting it running, since it uses Ruby, so the installation of it's a bit of a pain in the butt. It sucks. It took me a while to do. And sorry, I'm just gonna open a drink. I'm really thirsty. John, I have a question. If there was, for personal reasons, how would you push the website to your host? Yeah, I mean, I just would be saving the file here, and actually, because I'm using VS Code. It has the built-in GitHub integration. I literally just, here there's nothing, but if I was set up with it, I push a little thing here, push, and it pushes the changes to the branch that I'm on. And if it was the master branch, then my home website would be updated. I wouldn't have to do anything else. It's just done. Anytime I'd make a change to my master branch, either if you're using GitHub Pages, Netlify, and I think there's a few others that do it as well, static site hosts, and they're all free. They have paid. I know Netlify has paid stuff for the more advanced stuff. But yeah, I pushed to my master and the changes are live, which is really cool. And it's scary how fast it is. Like I push, I go to my website and it's there. So it's really, really handy and nice. And the only thing I have to pay for is my domain name. It's free to link. If you have your URL, you can link to your URL. Set up by my email has to go through. So there's a few configuration things I had to do, but overall, pretty easy to do. Yusuf, oh, that's not a dumb question. I don't think you can use a radial gradient as a drop down, but as a drop shadow type of thing, sorry. But you know what, on my buttons, I like doing stuff like this. Where's my website? Let's add a little gradient on this. You can see something, and I might have actually been on Dev Tips when I first learned this, but maybe somewhere else. It was on a YouTube channel somewhere, a few years ago probably. Let's go find my button. Button. Blog link, right? Yes. Okay, so on my blog link, let's add a box shadow of say 0, 0, 10 pixel blur, 0 spread, and RGBA. I'll use my color black at like 0.5. Just to make sure we can see it. Let's see how this looks. Actually, let's just make this 1 so we can really see what's going on. So we can see that the shadow is showing up there. And right now it's at a 10 pixel, so it's a spread. Let's make that a little bigger. Again, I'm exaggerating this than what I would really do. And I'm going to move it down. So I'm going to do, say, 20 pixels here. So it's underneath. But I'm going to change the spread. So spread, if I made this 20 pixels, it means, whoops. It means it's going to go 20 pixels and then start the blur. But instead of doing 20 there, I'll do -20 to pull it inwards a little bit. Maybe we'll do a bit less. So it's not perfect, but it does give sort of like a shape there. It makes it look like the button's floating a little bit more. So it's not a circular gradient, but it's maybe even more realistic because it sort of looks like it's coming this way with like the light is behind it or something. And then even on the blur, or on the hover, we could take my box shadow and say that this changes to -5. Let's just make it like, I'm gonna make it bigger. Of course it's not working. I'm missing this, which is why it's not working. So -5 here would probably be enough. Way too much. -10. My transition, I'll just transition all. So, oh, why did I put my transition there? Sorry, guys. And you can see it sort of moves in and out, and we could also do a transform, translate y, -10 pixels, let's say. And just to make sure it transitions properly, this would just be at 0. So it moves up, and that's probably too much, -5. So it looks like it's moving up in the shadows. You'd have to play with the numbers a little bit, but the shadow sort of grows as it moves up, or you could have the shadow shrink, whatever makes more sense. -30. Does that make more sense? That's too much. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, whatever makes more sense. Something's not looking right to me right now, but you could sort of do that to get like different, it's not really a different shape, but it's the shadows hiding underneath a little bit. TechNob, what advice will you give to a beginner web dev? I sometimes have issue deciding which framework to use. Yeah, frameworks. Don't use a framework. If you're just learning, try not to use them. Once you're really comfortable with what you're doing, then pick a framework. It depends so much. Different frameworks have different benefits to them. Bootstrap has the benefit of everybody's using it already, apparently. It's just really popular. Foundation has the advantage of having amazing documentation. And then a lot of the smaller ones have the advantage of just being smaller and lighter weight, and sometimes a little bit simpler to use. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer to which framework you might want to use. They can speed things up, but they can also slow you down, and they can prevent you from becoming better. If you're using them as a crutch because you're not super comfortable with how to do it without the framework, sometimes they limit what you can actually do. Whereas if you know it really well and you're using the framework just to speed you up, then it's a completely different story because you can make the framework really do what you want it to. Tyler, yeah, it was from Dev Tips, eh? It was yeah. I don't remember exactly how the way like he had the button moving around, but yeah, it was a good one. So not really a gradient, linear or radial gradient, but hopefully that gives you a bit of an idea of something you could play around with there, Yusuf. Peter, what about Sass? What about Sass? About learning Sass? Some videos on Sass? I will be having some videos on it. I will be having videos on Sass at one point, but I'm currently making a premium course. There won't be a link to it in the description of this video, but all my other videos have a link to it. It's not ready yet. It's in development. This afternoon, I will be recording a whole bunch for that actually. Once I'm finished with this, and yeah, that's going to be there. But when it's released, I'm also going to have a bunch of free videos as well on at least the basics of Sass, and then the course itself will be more about the in-depth, crazy fun things you can do with it and workflows and all of that stuff. If that's what you're asking about. If you have any other questions about Sass, feel free though. Yeah. The chat is picking up just as I was planning on logging off, so I'm going to stay on just for a little bit longer, but not for too much longer, because I do have all those videos to be making, and I need to stop talking at one point. My voice is... How do those guys who stream all day do it? I talk in the classroom all day too, but I get breaks there. Yeah, Tyler, Travis from Dev Tips is working at Google, and I don't know if it's because of that he stopped or not. I know that in his hiatus, I don't think was supposed to be this long. Based on the videos that are coming out on his channel now, I think he plans on coming back, which would be amazing. He's a big part of why I started doing these and a lot of what I learned and stuff. So it'd really be cool if he got back onto YouTube, but I completely understand if he doesn't. It is a lot of work. Just a weekly video is a surprising amount of work. Yeah, and I know he has a family and a probably very job that takes a lot of energy from him. So, but I would be very much looking forward to seeing if he got back on YouTube. Tyler, for the BIM, I love the BIM naming convention now that I'm using it more. I don't default to it, as you can see with some of these names. But in general, I've been trying to use it more. Excuse me. I have been trying to use it more, and for me, it makes sense. I think any naming convention is probably a good idea, and I find BEM strikes a really nice balance of not being over the top, but just being like logical and easy to use. So if some random person just picked up my file, they could probably figure it out. Whereas when you get into the atomic stuff that's so broken down, as something in like Bootstrap that uses it where they're breaking it down. They have like, MB0, MB1, MB2, MB3 for their margin bottom spacing. On a framework, I think that makes a lot of sense. For a site that people are working on, if you're building it from scratch, I don't know. It seems maybe over the top. I'd prefer personally having my Sass variables for spacers and just playing with those and applying them where I need them instead of everything being a class. Frameworks, it makes sense, but Atomic going really far one way, personally, I'm not a huge fan of it. BEM, I find, just strikes a nice balance in names that make sense and all of that. Elena, to get a job as a front-end developer, what do I need to know minimum to get a job? I've never worked in the field. I'm new. In general, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, I guess. I've been teaching for a while now, and so maybe I'm out of touch. Personally, if I was hiring, it'd be a little different. I'd rather someone's really good at stuff. There's a lot of emphasis put on JavaScript these days, just because, there's all the frameworks for JavaScript with React and Vue and Angular, and just being good with JavaScript has a lot of benefits. But especially if you're new, you probably know CSS is an easy language to understand and a hard language to master. And there's not enough people who really know it super well. I'm always learning new things about it, and the depth of it, and sometimes the stupidity of it, is something that people take for granted, that, it's easy to write. But you get a lot of people who aren't super good at CSS that are better at the other languages. But I think a basic understanding, at least, of JavaScript would really help you out, because I think most employers will be looking for at least a general knowledge of the three of them. And then if you can specialize in something, even if, from there, it probably would benefit even more. And bye, John. Take it easy. I'm going to be logging off soon too, guys. So if you have any more questions, hit me up soon, because if not, I'm going to have to get out of here and take care of some other stuff. Looking at this, let's just see if there's any last things I can do. I wanted to check one thing. So you guys can ask some questions. I want to look up at one thing here quickly on the configuration file and some other stuff I can do in here. So I can include stuff. I can do my set destinations, time zones, encoding. Is that it? And my build options. Build options. So auto regeneration when files are modified. So you can turn off watching. I don't want to do that. Stuff with drafts. Unpublished. Render posts that were marked as unpublished. So yeah, you can mark things as unpublished and they won't get published. So that's kind of cool. Limit the amount of posts. Well, that makes sense. If you have tons of posts, you don't want it to be generating them every time, I guess. No, it's not too much stuff. I thought there'd be more stuff in here. And then the serve command options. Is this where I saw the... No, it's not. Huh, I thought there was more stuff I could do in here. So you don't really need a ton of stuff in there. That's interesting. Oh yeah, here you can modify some other stuff, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff we can modify. I'm going to have to learn more about all of this, where things are getting handled. I don't mind their default breakdown of everything, though. I think it makes sense how their layouts directory, you can get plugins. There are plugins for Jekyll, which is cool, which I haven't looked at all yet, but the fact that they have them is cool. It's using Cramdown as the Markdown, but you can actually change it to other ones, which is neat. So we can always, maybe I could find a solution to my image problem by changing what's using the Markdown conversion. Game Goo, do I have plans about making a WordPress theme? It's something I haven't done in so long, and I think if I end up doing it, what I'm going to do is wait for Gutenberg to get fully implemented with the WordPress 5 update, and then take a look at it, because I think that would be worthwhile to experiment with. The problem is my PHP is terrible. So custom themes and all of that, I'm not very comfortable with it, so I'd have to re-dive into it. It's been a long time since I've played with WordPress in a substantial way. I've done superficial stuff with it, but in a real substantial way. So at one point it may happen, just not in the near future. And like the next 6 months, I don't see it happening. Tyler, another one. To get a job, realistic HTML, CSS, JavaScript, yeah. And at least knowledge, React, Angular, C Sharp, and experience with .NET. Yeah, you need. I mean, it really depends where you're going, what type of thing you're really after. If you're looking to build or for a decent salary anyway, the more you know, the better. Sadly, it's not so much about expertise on singular things. And mind you, that's why I find one of the problems with the web these days is we went from it being really like the Wild West to being really simplified, and now it's just like exploding again with a lot of crap. And here I am playing with Jekyll, which is more crap that we can play around with, right? But yeah, you get the idea. If you are looking into React or Angular or Vue or any of those other ones, Elena, just be careful. Make sure you understand JavaScript really well. I think it's the reason my goal for this year, I'm okay with JavaScript. My goal for this year is to really be good with JavaScript because I felt when I started looking into those languages, you get around. But I think a solid understanding of JavaScript means you're not learning React and stuck with React. You're learning JavaScript, which then you can learn React and then move on to the other ones maybe a little bit easier and be more open to moving around. It's sort of like you could get stuck on jQuery and how to use jQuery but never be able to do anything else. You don't want to learn just React. Personally, I think it's a more useful skill to know vanilla JS, and then I think it would make you more versatile. Maybe other people have different opinions on that and disagree with me, but I think it could be beneficial to really understand JS really well. And yeah. So that's it, I think. Thanks, Simon, and thanks, GameGoo, and thanks all of you guys for being here. And that was a lot of fun. Sorry for the beginning. I know there was for anyone who stuck around through the lagging issues and all of that. I apologize for that. I think I know what caused it, so next time it shouldn't be an issue. And I guess that's it. Thanks a ton for being here. And until next time, don't forget to make your corner of the internet just a little bit more awesome.